are times in history when cities do not just change. They are forced to begin again. And I've been always fascinated by this idea that some of the buildings that we see today are not just designed, they are responses. Because war doesn't just reshape borders, it actually reshapes architecture itself. Before modern wars, cities evolved slowly. Places like London, Berlin, or Tokyo were built over centuries and layer by layer. An architecture carried identity. Streets were irregular, buildings carried craft, and materials aged with time. Architecture was not construction, it was memory. It reflected culture, craft, and time. And cities were not perfect, but they were deeply human. Then war arrived. In World War II, entire cities were devastated. Large parts of Berlin were reduced to rubble. London endured relentless bombing during the Blitz, and in Tokyo, firebombing destroyed vast areas of the city. And what took centuries to build was gone in days. And it's really hard to grasp that scale of loss because architecture is about permanence. But in those moments, nothing was permanent. After the war, the change was immediate. People needed homes, cities needed infrastructure, and life had to restart. And in places like Berlin and London, rebuilding was not about the ideal design. It was about speed. Efficiency became the priority here. Ornament disappeared and materials became standardized. And as someone working in architecture today, you can still feel the echo of that mindset. And out of that urgency came a new architectural language. Clean lines, minimal detailing, and mass housing. In Berlin, for example, large housing estates were built quickly. And in Tokyo, the city rebuilt with the efficiency and density in mind. And at that moment, architecture shifted from expression to system, and from individuality to repetition. Not because architects lacked vision, but because the moment demanded solutions at scale. The decision made during those moments didn't stay in the past. They became the foundation of how we build today. Even in cities that were never destroyed, we adopted the same systems: efficiency, standardization, and speed. This is something I think about a lot, because many of the constraints that we work within today were shaped by moments of urgency decades ago. War doesn't just leave marks in history books. It leaves them in concrete, in skylines, in how cities feel.